Is going to prison the same everywhere? No. Today we're gonna talk about some of the difference between doing time in the Florida Chaingang and doing time out west. What's good? Welcome to another episode of Kiko's P.A.I.N, the definitive channel of the Florida Chaingang, where we turn bad into good and pain into progress. I'm Kiko Cortez. And today, I just want to talk a little bit about the way things are in Florida Chaingang, like, and how they differ from, a lot of things you may hear about prisons in Arizona, California, generally out west. Just as a little something to move forward with. Because, I hear certain things. All I know, I've been in prison in Indiana, I've been in prison in Florida, and they are how they are. And we'll get into that. But I hear about a lot of the stuff in California. A lot of these, a lot of these guys got YouTube channels. Now that I'm posting, I get a lot of it in my feed, and so I give it a little listen to. And I hear about the racial segregation. Obviously, there's some movies too take place in Cali where everybody get a little idea about the way they racially segregate in there. But I don't know nothing about that. That's not my experience. And so just leading off, I'll say, in Florida, it don't work like that. Is there racism in Florida? Hell yeah. Racist as hell. I mean, you got racist white people, racist black people. Come on, it's the world. Are we naive? Racist people. All right. I mean, and still Florida, it's a down south state, so you got, I don't know, I don't know if that matters today or not, but I mean it's definitely racism. But as far as like only black people with black people, only white people with white people, only Latinos with Latinos, no, no, not at all. Me personally, that's never been a fact, and I'm glad I've always did my time out, out here in Florida, Indiana. I mean, I hate to have to do time like that because I don't like having to segregate myself because it's something that I've always said. To me, races and people, it's kind of like a deck of cards. When you got four suits, you got aces. Excuse me, you got diamonds, spades, hearts, clubs, and yeah, okay, you might be a club, and all right, everybody else you used to being, with other clubs, but you also are either, an ace of clubs, a king of clubs, or two or three of clubs. Meaning you might be a low garbage little card, or you might be a card that carries some weight, that's got some value to it. Aces, kings, queens, jacks. Um, and to me, I always looked at it. I'd rather hang out with other aces, other kings, other queens than hang out with a two and a three and a four of my suit. You know, if that make any sense. I just always looked at it. There's only one ace in each suit. There's only one king in each suit. So if I want to rock with other aces and other kings, other people that's on the level that I feel like I'm always on, then I gotta go up out the suit. I gotta find them people. And more importantly, having to go out the suit, it's just an analogy. Let's not take it too far. It's basically saying I'm not gonna limit myself to this one little spot when I'm searching for good, rare people of character. Because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for real people with character that I want to surround myself with. What I consider myself is, a real person with character. And that's what I want to be around. You don't want to be around somebody just because they might have the same ethnic background as me. If their character is garbage, nah, I never been like that. So, thank goodness that, where I did my time was a place where I could live the way I choose to live without having to have, constant conflict behind it. But wherever I am, that's one thing I know about me. I always been down to die for what I believe in, you know what I mean? So, hey, somehow, some way I made it here today, but that's not the point. That's just a little background on my feeling on the whole thing. But just to sum it up, though, Florida isn't segregated like that. I'm gonna leave it at that. Later, talking about more stuff, we can get more into depth in the way certain interactions are between different races in the Florida Department of Corrections. But for now, we just really just trying to do an overview again. Um, Another thing I wanted to talk about is that you hear like a lot of them talking about level 4 yards, level 5 yards, level three. Some places are called prisons, some places are called camps, and that signifies something or other. Florida's not like that. Florida, you got main units. We call all our prisons camps. Like that's a camp. Yeah, you got Florida State Prison, but like camp is just like a term. That's no difference. It could be a camp. I mean, Charlotte CI, Martin CI. Some of these places just you know, ratchet penitentiaries. Really, I mean, people are, oh, it's not a penitentiary, it's an institution. Man, them are semantics. You know what I mean? So words, different words for the same thing, basically. But in Florida, you don't have one camp that's just like one level like that. You got all levels in one main unit. You know, you got HO5 is the highest housing status in Florida, and people that can still like walk the compound. That's like the most restrictive. You have to have a certain amount of doors between you and outside. I was HO5 the majority of my time in prison. HO4, HO3, HO2, HO1, it goes down like that. And so you can have, and your time don't necessarily make you can have a life sentence and be an HO2 or something like that. And you can be about to go home tomorrow and be a HO5. A lot of people had that HO5 stuck on them forever because they had some prior escape in their past. I had a homeboy, he had an escape from a detention center when he was a JIT, and now he was just doing 5 years, but he was in the HO5 doing with lifers because he had this on his record. Um, so the thing is you can be in a dorm. You can have lifers with low HO statuses because maybe they haven't been raising hell in prison, or they whatever good behavior, the nature of their charges. I don't even know what the formula is because it's esoteric for sure. But you can have guys going home tomorrow right here, guys life sentences. They did change it where you can't have a roommate that has life sentence if you got like less than 20 years. You got to be like within 10 or 20 years. I don't like I said, you hear what the rules is, but you see them getting broke too, so it makes you wonder exactly where the cutoff is. But at one point it didn't matter, but towards the latter part of my time, you didn't see lifers with people with less than 10, 20 years. And but you could be in the set in the right next door. You're in the dorm together. You're in the day room together. You go to child together. It's one thing about Florida is so many people have life sentences. It's like nothing. Like like I mean, just when I was in Indiana, they have more of like a level camp thing. So that like each camp you're at, you're gonna have people that are kind of similar times. But in Florida, for one, half the people you gonna meet got a life sentence, or damn near 50, 60, 70 years. I mean, they're not playing down here in Florida. They're giving out time, and 10, 20 life, all that, and so you got lifers everywhere for one, and so in two, they intermingle with people that's going home the next day, and that's just the way it is. So like people talk about, I mean, you hear them talking about other states. Oh, I was on the level of this yard. I was on the level of that yard. Really, in Florida, it's just from camp to camp. It's different. From camp to camp, some camps are ratchet, some camps are chill, you know, and I'm sure there's all types of different, and that can change. Just that one camp over 10, 20 years isn't necessarily ratchet or chill the whole time. It can change quickly. In one of my past videos, I spoke about how Cross City was known for being a laid back, chill camp, but then at some point, somewhere up in the hierarchy, the administration of the DOC, they decided to start sending CM release inmates to Cross City. Start flooding them in it. Boom, boom. Gang members, violent people that are violent in prison. In the place naturally got off the chain. And so, people are like, okay, this is a level of this yard. Oh, I went to a level of this yard, and oh yeah, that's something. Oh, I was level of this yard, and I'm here to talk about it. I mean, that means I'm tough just by association or something. That's one thing I know from the streets, from prison. The worst hoods in the world got somebody that's straight, cool to brown, and vice versa. The softest little spots got killers coming up out of them. You know what I'm saying? So that just killed me. But that's a little side note. That's just me on a tangent. Um, but in Florida, yeah, that's just definitely one thing that's different. Is all main units hold the same levels of inmates from HO1 to HO5. Generally, when you get down to HO1, you're sent to like a work camp. or something like that, where you might get to work outside the gate. I never went to a work camp my whole time. Like I said, I was a HO4 95% of my bid. They finally, I mean HO5. They made me an HO4 at the very end, and part of that was because I had my charges, violent charges. I had fought with officers in prison. I caught outside cases in prison, but also I had a hold on me in Indiana the whole time I was doing my Florida bid, so that kept my custody up. So I was always in dorms with lifers and all that. And surprisingly, some of those dorms with lifers, surprisingly, there's people that haven't been there, those are some of the chillest dorms that is with them lifers, especially we got them lifers that already done did 20, 30 years. I mean, they done seen it, they done been through it all. They just want to chill and watch their little shows and play cards or whatever. But yeah, that's just something that's different from Florida and from what I hear about. Y'all level this, y'all level that. Now Florida's got it all. It's just some camps, and we got so many of them. I mean, from basically every county in the state of Florida has at least one prison, and then a annex attached to it, a work camp attached to it. Annex is just they added basically another prison next, usually right next to the main unit, but it's really like can't say like annex is lower cut. Sometimes the annex is the one that's ratchet and the main unit's more chill. It's all over the place when you got so many different kind of camps in Florida. So those are like some of the main things I just wanted to point out with this video. Nothing like real deep. It's just that some of this racial stuff and some of the way that the yards are broke up in Florida aren't like what you may hear about in a lot of other places. And as I get into more, my specific story and my journey through the joint, before I get into all that, I just kind of wanted to lay the groundwork here on this channel about what the basic outlines this environment is. So there's no need to stop in the middle of a story and tell you about it. But we're gonna actually get. I mean, we're gonna tell these stories, these situations that I've been into, and I think they're real unique. I mean, I don't think there's too many people that have made it out here and that are on here today that have gone through the things and have done the things in prison that I've done. And that's not to clap myself on the back. It's just that's where I live my whole life, and you know, it's just the way it happened. And some real interesting stuff, not just same stuff. But for now, I'm gonna leave y'all with that. You know what I'm saying? If y'all ain't subscribed yet, you just come across the channel, man, go ahead and subscribe. Check out some of these other videos I got, because like I said, I'm trying to lay the table, so when I get to start telling this story, Kiko's P.A.I.N for real, my personal experiences, I want y'all to already know what this environment's like. You know what I mean? And so you can really just like picture this. But more importantly, get these morals and get these parallels between prison and out here in the real world. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot that can be learned, man. Surprise, surprise. You can learn a lot from a dummy. Hey, and I was a dummy a lot of my life. Main thing I want to y'all take away from this video is what I started with. You know what I mean? Just because you was a spade, a dime, and a heart, a club, you ain't stuck there. I mean, if you was an ace, if you was a king, if you was a queen, man, go find people like you. Go find them aces. Go find them kings and queens. You know what I mean? Don't sit there and just rock with these deuces and threes and fours and all that just because that's all that you've known. That's what your environment is. That's what you've always been. Them not your kind of the aces and the kings. That's what you are, and that's what you need to be with. You know what I mean? So don't limit yourself. Go ahead, hit that like button, man. Leave me a comment. Y'all ain't telling me nothing, man. Y'all got some questions. Y'all want to hear some specific stuff about the joint. Listen, I can tell you anything about the Florida Chaingang. Anything. If you want to know the truth without any embellishment or trying to make myself look like I'm somebody, hey, just ask me and I'll tell you. But in the meantime, y'all stay blessed.